and officially welcome you to Megillat Esther. Um, I was pointing out to Sharon before you arrived, Becky, that and you may have discovered this for yourself. There's a folder in the course folder for this, which is called Kessler Esther Materials,
Mhm.
and that includes his version of the trope, which is in some ways substantially different and in some ways very similar to Jacobson. Um,
Mhm.
I end up preferring Jacobson. I've spent time with both, and so I stand by what I teach, and um, Jack is fine too. Like, again, I've said it a million times, there's like no one way to do any of this. There's so many right ways. This is the way that I prefer of what I've been shown. Um, and I love Jacobson's book and how it's laid out and so on. There's also in there Jack's English Megillah, which is a treasure. It's a treasure, and it's really true to the Esther story. I mean, it's got all the parts, not in quite as much detail, but it's all in there. And he has set it to trope. Um, I have tweaked it a little bit. There's some language in there that I've adjusted a little bit to my personal sensibilities. Um, I think you have the bare bones version. And I also played with the trope a little bit in some places. So, like when you're setting trope to English, it doesn't adhere strictly to the exact same, it can't to the exact same grammatical rules and everything because they're just languages that are set up completely differently. So I want to give you that license too. If you're working with that English Megillah and you are like, oh, I think this sequence might work better here, like, do that. Um, so that's just to alert you to that. And if you wanted to start studying the English Megillah, if you guys are going to do something for your shuls, I do it every year actually at the assisted living where Jack's sister lives, not far from here. And
Mhm.
they love it. They just love it. It's been a beautiful thing. It's a lot of fun. And again, really true to the story, or true to the story as it was given to us. Who knows how true that story is, but um, all right, I'm gonna bring up a screen share. We enter into Megillat Esther, and we start every unit this way with the um, sequence of like a very common sequence of trope. They're common combos, and that's a common sequence that you'll. It's not comprehensive, that's for sure. And as usual, week by week, I'll be calling on you guys to share with me in the chanting of this sequence. But for today, I will get us going, and I'll just do it a couple of times. And you'll see how fun it is.
Yay.
Mapach pashta, munach zakef, merchati becha, munach et nachta. Kadma v'geresh, monach revia, targa tevir, merchati becha, mercha siluk.
Wow. Mhm.
Wow, right? So I'm going to do it one more time. And before I chant it again, I'm going to just float the question, what do you notice? Mapach pashta munach zakef merchati becha munach et nachta kadma v'geresh munach revia targa tevir merchati becha mercha silu.
Major key.
Well, yes,
Kinda.
but it ends on the supertonic
Yeah.
because you think that this is the note or I forget what
Mhm.
it is already, but it doesn't resolve to
Right.
this or that.
Chasilu. Yeah, right. It's not even the relative minor. It lands on
Right.
two of the major. Like what? Um,
Yeah.
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 Right.
I was looking at your cards, your flash guy. I'm old fashioned and printing stuff out just because.
Great. Well, those are
Um.
definitely meant to be printed out. Like cut them up and
Yeah.
do them. Yeah.
Yeah. But I noticed that some of these pairings, they're just um I don't know. They just some of them are close to regular Torah trope, and some are completely different.
Hmm.
But I understand that they do have the same. They serve the same grammatical purposes.
Yeah,
Is that correct? Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Dargatavir is almost.
Almost.
Yeah.
Yep.
It just doesn't end the same way.
That's right. It
There got to be. I forget what you did.
yeah, Tevir.
Mhm.
So if you look at Jack's charts in the Kessler Megillah or Kessler Esther materials,
Mhm.
he where there's often a tempo or a mood indicator in the chart, he writes something like a little bit drunk, right? It's all over the map. I mean, when
Mhm.
uh, I can't remember exactly which units you've done with me, Sharon, but you've probably heard me talk about this, and I know, Becky, that you have.
Mhm.
Um, Often the music like serves itself so that it's like really smooth, and transitions are usually either note to note or a step apart or whatever. And there are occasions that it's not in the other, but mapach pashta munach zakev merachati v'cha munach et nachta kadma v'geresh munach revia dargat evir merchati b'cha merchasi lo. Right? I mean, it's such a party. It's
Uh-huh.
such a party. Um, so
Something
yeah,
that I really noticed is that the mapach, munach, mercha, they all sound so much alike.
mm,
Although
Ada, da da,
right. They're like rather large leaping gestures. Mapach,
somebody.
uh,
uh-huh.
munach, mercha.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Munach revia. Munach et nachta. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. A lot of big leaps in this. Very playful. Very
Uh-huh.
playful.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, right. And, a lot to navigate. It's not so, it's a little bit all over the place. So, there's your intro. And let's dive in. I'm trying to put the thumbnails so that I can see everything. Oops. I didn't say go back. Here we go. Um, so let's start. I like to separate Merchasi look first from Merchati B'cha, but then we'll glue them together as we always do. Um, so as you can see here, there's this note in parentheses. Um, so you may have Merchasi look, or you may have Merchasi look. Um, that would apply depending on what the syllable content is, like katov ba'einecha, right? Um, or you may have a word with fewer syllables, and you would just go la la ya la la. So it's you just use your discretion.
Asher hu Yehudi. like that?
Well, the way that fell out, the accent needs to be on D.
Oh,
Yehudi.
Yehudi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, there you go. Good. Sharon, you want to try one?
Sorry. Let's see. No.
Just stick with Mercha Siluk for now.
Okay. Okay. So it's Velo Yishtachaveh.
Yeah, and there we have so many syllables that we need a few on that, thing that's notated as G to get us through all those pickup syllables.
Right.
Becky, do you want to do another one? Maybe the Hashiv
Sure.
Mordechai?
Lahashir el Mordechai.
Great. Good. Um, and now let's add the Mercha Tibcha to it. Mercha Tibcha. And this is happily a note-to-note connection. Mercha Silut. Mercha Tibcha. Mercha Silut. And why don't you each do? Well, I think Becky, you did. I think Sharon, you just did one. So Becky, why don't you do the full phrase of the two that you tried, and Sharon, you can do the one that you did plus the one that I used as an example. So starting here, I guess Becky, Yigid Lahem.
Ki higid lahem asher hu Yehudi. How is
Almost. Note where the trope mark falls in this word
Oh,
unit.
yes. Ki higid lahem asher hu Yehudi.
Yeah, there you go. Good. And Sharon, you did Velo Yishtachaveh, right?
Yeah. Um, hold on. So no yichra, no yichra, no. And let me just do the mircha tipcha.
Right, so
Mircha tipcha.
Merecha Tibcha.
That's word.
Yeah.
Mircha tipcha. Mircha silu. Is
Now
that
let's
right?
yes. And let's
Mhm.
review what happens when you have a one syllable word with a musical figure that has more than one note. Ya la ya ya.
Lo
So it's not that.
No?
Nope. What happens when we have no pickup
Oh,
syllable?
you just sing the top note?
Yep, then we get
Lo
no pickup note. Yep.
Okay. I
Hmm.
didn't realize that. Lo yicha velo yishtachaveh.
Yeah, really
Is that
good.
right?
I would probably for Yishtachave, you did this before, but you changed it this time. I would stay with this first pickup note for the most of the pickup syllables. Velo Yishtachave, and then not move there until the last possible second.
So, lo yicha velo yishtachaveh.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Got it. All right. Let's go back to Becky. Vatomer Esther. You can
Okay.
do that whole phrase. Ay, 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 ay.
ותאמר אסתר להשיב אל מרדכי.
Excellent. And Sharon, let's bring you back in. La'asot bo.
לעשות בו כטוב בעיניך.
Good. Yeah. Yep. And with bo, because no, you did it exactly right. You did it right. I'm gonna explain
Okay.
why. Why does bo get two notes when we said lo only gets one? Because in the like proof text,
Mm-hmm.
the strong syllable actually gets both notes. It if we had something another syllable before bo, then we'd hear ay 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 ay, right? Instead we just hear I. So that's
Got
why
it.
bo gets to have both of those notes, but lo does not. Okay,
Interesting.
cool, good. So something happens to siluk when we don't have mercha in front of it. It changes a little bit. Siluk. There's just a little bit more to it, or it has a little bit more of a sweet, because we do get a little bit of the honoring of the, you know, the smooth musical transition. Mercha tipecha siluk.
Now those dark colored, is that where that's where you want to spend most of your time? Is that why
Yeah,
it's
so
okay.
I'll explain the differentiated shading.
Okay.
So where there's no shading, those are unaccented syllables, or
Mm-hmm.
so-called pickup syllables. The darkest is the accented syllable. And so that's going to get, if there's just one accented syllable and it's the last syllable, it's going to get both notes. If there's two notes for the accented syllable, and one of them is a lighter shade, that's what happens if you have a penultimate word accent. Like be'enecha. Be'enecha. Then those notes get distributed over those two syllables. Versus Yehudi. Okay, that's what the shading denotes.
Yeah, I think I understood that instinctually without it being explained.
Yeah.
But now it makes sense.
Yeah, it's nice to know it explicitly as well as implicitly. Good.
Yeah.
All right, so who wants to try one of these? We'll do the whole phrase. The whole phrases.
I'll try.
Okay.
The dark mazel. I'm not sure how to do this. El mazel.
Yes, that was it.
Okay.
That's right.
The
Because
al mazel.
yeah,
El
even
mazel.
yeah, because even though this is not in the accented category, like usually the high note gets the accent, but in this case, it's actually it's an appoggiatura. It's actually a really
Right.
strong statement. Ah, ay, 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 ay. This is the most tense note in the
Right.
musical phrase. So good instinct. Right,
Yeah, I have to practice it.
and when you have two available pickup notes, the first one is going to be front loaded. Like even if we
Right.
had 16 syllables here, you
Yeah,
would
yeah.
get 16 syllables of D, and then the
Mhm.
syllable before the accented syllable is going to get the second pickup note.
Ve'almazel.
Yeah. So like that's why that was correct. That choice was correct. Cool. Thank you. Becky, you want to pick one of these?
ועשרים ומאה מדינה.
Good, good. And why don't you both do the last one so you each get a chance to do two, just to really start integrating it. Sharon, why don't you go next? Asher Katav.
אשר כתב מרדכי עליהם.
Yeah, and Becky.
אשר כתב מרדכי עליהם.
Tov me'od. Very good.
Mhm.
Right. So let's move to our next. Elisions are always fun. So I'll read this out loud. When tipcha is followed immediately by siluk, and the siluk word is accented on the first syllable, or I'll add if it only has one syllable, which is kind of the same, but not exactly. The lyrics are elided and the melody is slightly altered so that the B flat is still included. It becomes elided into the tipcha word.
Mhm.
Shemonim u'ma'at yom. So it's, if you recall way back and way, way back for you, Sharon, into the intro unit, this phenomenon of musical accounting, like all the notes actually need to be accounted for in an elision. And they are, because tipcha, the end of the tipcha note, the ending note of tipcha is the same as the beginning note of a standalone siluk. So it's still in there, even though it looks like it's gone away. It's not reiterated, but it's subsumed. And then the B flat is still there, even though there's syllabically no place for it. But we keep our books balanced.
So you wouldn't do yom.
Right? No, you wouldn't do that.
That sounds pretty drunk.
That's a little too drunk. We have to still be able to, stand on our heads for the 10 sons or whatever. My rabbi actually does that.
Oh, really?
He actually stands on his head and
I didn't
chants
know
that
that was
upside
part
down.
of the tradition.
Mm-hmm. Standing on your head and doing it in one breath.
That I knew about the one breath and one note. I think I read somewhere.
And standing on your head. Yep, and he does
Okay.
that. I don't do
That's
that.
crazy.
I also don't usually chant the Megillah in Hebrew. I chanted it. I do the English. Anyway, why don't you each try that? Shmonim u'ma'at yom.
I'll try.
Okay.
שמונים ומאת יום.
Good.
Monim yom.
Very good. That's how that works.
Tom old.
It is fun stuff. All right. So now we get Munach et Nachta. And as you can see again, a sneak preview, the et Nachta without a Munach is a little bit different than when it is preceded by a Munach. So when it is preceded by Munach, we have Munach et Nachta. And I'll do it again. Munach et Nachta.
מנחת נחתה.
So let's again take these apart and just do the Munach et Nachta, and then we'll add the Mercha Tipcha. Even though, unlike Haftarah, the Mercha Tipcha doesn't change depending on whether it's a Siluk or an et Nachta segment. That's merciful. All right, who would like to take Beshushan ha-birya? Bira, sorry. Sharon.
The Shushan Habira.
Good, excellent. And Becky,
Sure.
et Am Mordechai.
Et Am Mordechai.
Great. And Sharon, do you want to attempt this with an elision, even though we haven't looked at that scenario explicitly?
We haven't. Which one? Just so
So,
you.
lehagid la.
Okay.
So, if you want, we can talk through the principles again of
Uh,
how elision works.
Hila, alachila. Is that how
Almost.
it was?
So, if these are the notes that get the,
Hila,
yeah, lehagid.
hila.
Yep,
Yes.
there it is. So,
Oh boy.
you this note gets just automatically subsumed, and then
Mm-hmm.
this gets chanted as part of the last syllable,
Right.
and then this gets the strong notes. Lahagid la la. Good.
Got it. Got
All
it.
right. And then let's go back and each of you take your respective fragment and add the mercha tipcha so you have practice, making those transitions.
Okay. Vehadat nisna. Shushan Habira. I
Hmm.
think I did that wrong, but
Do it again. Um,
Vehadat Nitna the Shushan Habira.
yeah, yep,
Okay.
that's it. Becky, yours.
Ki higidu lo et Am Mordechai. No, I didn't do Mordechai right. Ki higidu lo et Am Mordechai.
Yeah, yep, there it is. Good. And let's have each of you do the elision version. You can go ahead and start, Sharon.
All right, I'll try it. Meharot et Esther Ulahagid la.
Good. And Becky.
Leharot et Esther ulahagid la.
Good. Good, good, good. So now we'll visit what happens when Etnachta does not have a munach to serve it, has to do all the heavy lifting. Oh, jeez. Um, Merchati becha et nachta. So it's quite simplified. We have the note to note connection, we just stay with that. But we have the same ending. Ah. Merchati becha et nachta. All right, so who wants to go first? Velo shama. Becky, sure.
V'lo shama alehem.
Good. Sharon, you want to take the next one?
Ve'am va'am Kilshono.
All right. And Becky, why don't you take the last one?
V'yetzeh hatach el Mordechai.
Great. You keep getting all the Mordechai examples. What does it mean? Funny. Good. Very good.
It
All
means I
right.
need to learn how to ride a horse?
You will be celebrated for generations to come.
There we go.
Oh,
Mhm.
it's thinking about advancing the slide. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm trying to really train myself to not click again if it doesn't respond right away. Because sometimes it doesn't. I click and it's like doesn't move, so then I think it didn't hear and I click twice and then we skip too far. All right. Tevir. Sharon, you have a puzzled look on your face.
Oh, I'm not puzzled. I'm just sight reading.
Okay.
You're
Yeah.
just seeing that little singing face.
Yeah. Tevir. Mhm. Yeah.
Kasher.
Great. And what happens now? Good. And Becky,
Sheva.
Sharon.
Amen.
Oh man, you guys are pros. Yep, you
We're quick at
nailed.
studies.
Yep, you nailed all those one syllable. And I mean, this is the beauty. Like it really, the understanding is cumulative.
Mm-hmm.
And so you,
Yeah, but it's not. It's the practicing is where it sinks in.
yes,
So
absolutely.
in a sense, if this was a bigger class, I would listen to all these other people and I'd have this chance to let it sink in, even though it's going slower. So I have this little fear of like, oh my God, we're going to have all this stuff and am I going to remember it all?
Right. But you're applying the principles is
Yeah,
is the thing. Like I didn't have to explain like, all right, pay attention to where you start when it's one syllable or the first syllable, you guys
right.
just went right there immediately because you have that background. You've studied other tropes and the same principles. That's why I have my intro unit because the same principles apply even though the music changes in some cases very dramatically, but the principles don't. Okay. Dargah, which is, um, this it's Dargah doesn't actually change much from trope to trope because it's steps. Dargah Tevir. Um, so all right, let's trade Dargah Tevir snippets. I can't remember who started last. So whoever didn't start last, start here, Elyad.
I'll start. Elyad. Shashkaz. Shashkaz.
Shashgaz.
Shashkaz.
There you go.
Elyad. Shashkaz.
Yeah, good, good. Um,
Lekacha Mordechai. I gotta remember that Mordechai, not Mordechai.
yeah, exactly. Anybody remember what principle is at play here? Why this becomes katan?
It's
I
a closed, unaccented syllable.
That's the deal. It also is a kamatz that precedes a chataf kamatz. So
right.
it has two principles that can get applied here. Because whenever you have one that precedes chataf kamatz, that's always katan. And then, so you don't have to change your mouth shape. Mordechai. This often ends up coming out more like a shva, Mordechai,
Yeah.
but it's kamatz. It's shorter than an ah. All right,
Right.
ki Mordechai.
Ki Mordechai.
Yes, vatomer Esther.
Vatomer
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there it is. And as you may have been reading, like to make this transition when it's preceded by dargah, the first pickup note is G. But if it's by itself, as it is up here, tevir, then it's a double F. But you either did it naturally this way or read that, but that's how it works. Because even this wacky trope does have some interest in preserving musical continuity and
Yeah.
smoothness.
I
Okay.
don't know why I did it that way. It just felt right.
It just felt right. Yeah. Um,
I have a question. I have heard that Megillah Trop is similar to Echa Trop, and in remembering hearing Megillah and hearing Echa, I can see that. But so far, I don't hear any Echa. Do you know what I mean?
mm. um, so the Kadma Geresh is actually very similar and possibly identical.
Hmm.
Um, now I have to get my Echa head on.
No, no.
Yeah. The I think actually in Jack's Esther version, they're more similar than this. Um, but yeah, I'm not gonna try and shift gears right now. But
Okay,
the
sorry.
Kadma Geresh is actually, I think, identical.
Hmm.
Um, Mapach bashta monach sakev, merchat ipcha monachet nachta, Kadma v'geresh monach revi. Revia and Echa is really pretty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Darga tevir, it is the same as Haftarah.
All
Hmm.
right.
Hatifcha merchasilu. Yeah. Um, all right. That was a fun digression. Um, so then, of course, mercha is another conjunctive that can precede tevir, and it has the same shape as the dargah, but just without the steps. That's how it always is. Like whatever the shape of dargah is, the mercha has the same shape without the intervening steps here. Mercha tevir versus dargah. Right, so same shape,
Right.
fewer notes. Mercha tevir. All right, so v'yein malchut. V'yein. Mm-hmm. Yavakshu lamelech.
Yivakshu lamelech.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how would this be? Ein lavo. Do you pick it up?
Exactly. Exactly. We just drag the pickup note.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Hold on a second. All right. Working while parenting.
How old is your daughter now?
15.
Oh,
Yeah. And
Ay.
she's doing great. She's actually doing great, thank God.
oh, good,
Um,
good.
so here's something definitely worth mentioning, which is why I included it in a slide. Um, we learned earlier, mercha, with the F as the pickup note. When it's preceded by tevir, we move the pickup note so that it's a note to note connection between tevir and mercha. Tevir, mercha, tibcha. It's just easier, and that's okay. We like the path of least resistance. It's a-okay.
If one doesn't do that and just does the regular merchat tipcha, is that
No
considered
soup for
incorrect?
you. Yeah, right. No one's gonna bat an eyelash if you did it that
Okay.
way instead. And no one will
Okay.
kick you out of shul, and no one will defrock you as a chazan, and so on. Yeah.
Thank goodness. I was worried about that one.
Turn in your talis over that one. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Click. Oh, you can see it trying. Yeah. Okay. Um, And then we have our little fun phenomenon of conjunctive stacking. It's like trigger stacking. My dog trainer taught us about trigger stacking. Like, all right, your dog might be able to handle one or two unusual things when you're out for a walk. By the time you get to three or four or five, they start getting trigger stacked, and the nervous system gets worn thin. Um, anyway, we can stack conjunctives without stress and anxiety. Kadma darga tevir. So one cool thing I discovered about Kadma, I think it was in our last unit, is that it's always an ascending figure. And I connected that to Kadma, Kedem, like the sunrise place. Kadma Darga. And it always leaps up to the note that we're gonna start on for our next thing. And when we have Kadma Darga, um, Darga starts up high. When we in the previous slides we had Darga Tevir. So when it's by itself, it has that little leap built in. When it has the sunrise before it, the sunrise brings us up, and then we already start up there. Kadma Darga Tevir. Okay. So, someone, Esther Hamalka im Hamelech. Becky.
Esther Hamalka im Hamelech.
Great. Sharon, Lehavi et Vashti Hamalka.
להביא את ושתי המלכה.
Great. And then same thing applies, Mercha Tevir. Becky, Me'asher.
Ma'asher Yoshit. Oh, sorry. Ma'asher Yoshit lo Hamelech.
Good catch. And Sharon.
ויספר לכם המן.
Good. And now I'm going to pause the recording for a second. Resume. Now we are recording again. Thank you very much. So picking up where we left off, Darga can also be preceded by Munach, which usually happens when you have a one-syllable word or a two-syllable penultimate accent word like Melech. And then it basically just becomes another pickup note. Munach Darga Tevir. So let's try a couple of these. Who would like to start? Ben Yair. Okay, Sharon.
בן יאיר, בן שמעי.
Great. And they've given us a couple of longer phrases too, which is very nice. Want to each pick a phrase and
Oi, now I need to remember.
Yeah, I know.
that's why I'm here. I can give cues and prompts. That's fine.
I'll try it, but
Okay.
I'll probably need some to be. You'll need to help me.
Totally fine.
במספר החרוטים את בשושן הבירה לפני I don't remember it. Okay. לפני המלך.
Yeah, just like that. Good. Becky, you want to take the next one?
את איגרת הפורים הזאת השנית. No.
So this is our sort of expanded siluk. And
Hasi. Uh,
Hazot. So here we have just tipcha with no mercha before it. Hazot silu.
Hazot Hasheni.
Yeah,
So let me try the whole thing.
great.
Okay.
את איגרת הפורים הזאת השני.
Yeah, that's how it's done. Good. And Monach Mercha operates exactly the same way. Who would like to sing our example phrase with just that, and then we have some longer phrases we get to practice.
I'll do.
Okay.
אם את אשר יאמר.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Can you do that again? I didn't catch that.
אם את אשר יאמר.
Actually, I'm going to refine that a little bit, hearing it again.
Yeah, the tefillah is not quite right.
Well, what happened it was actually before that.
Drop the pitch.
The descent of the mercha was a little too wide.
Ah,
Imet Asher
ah.
Yoma. And so then it affected the starting place of Tevir, which made it sound a little more drunk even than we expected to be.
אם את אשר.
Imet Asher.
אם את אשר. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yomel, Yomel.
yes, there it is. Good. So, Becky, while we're here, so that's the beginning of this first phrase here. Let's have you take us through this whole phrase, which ends with Munach et Nachta.
אם את אשר יאמר, הגה
So
צריך,
here we have Mercha Tipcha.
הגה, הגה צריך. No, no.
Let's go back. Imet Asher Yomar. And remember, when Mercha follows Tipcha, it's the same note, it's a note to note connection.
I'm going to try to find this actually in the book because the screen is just not the right distance from my
Ah,
eyes here. I'm not seeing it very well.
okay.
Um, found it. Okay.
Okay.
אם את אשר
Imet Asher.
אם את אשר יאמר, הגייס איס המלך.
Sharon, can you mute, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. Absolutely.
No, I'm frustrated because I could do this 10 minutes ago.
But
Right.
that was 10 minutes ago, and so much input has gone in since then. So
Right.
um, just know that I'm not frustrated that you can't do it.
הגייס איס המלך.
Monach et nachta.
שומר הנשים.
Yeah. Yep.
שומר הנשים. אם את אשר, אם את אשר יאמר.
Almost.
אם את
The one in the
אשר.
middle. Imet Asher. It's
אם
like
את אשר.
timpani drums. Boom, 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 boom.
אם את אשר יאמר. הגייס אריס המלך. שומר. You just did it for me. שומר הנשים.
Monach et nachta.
שומר הנשים. Why is this so difficult?
Because it is. Because it actually is. It's not easy.
הנשים.
Let's go back over also Mercha Tipcha. Mercha tipacha. It is hard. Like, it actually objectively is. It's all over the map. Like,
הגיא סויס המלך, שופט
Munach.
האנשים.
Yeah. 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 I mean, we're constantly back and forth between major and minor.
Mm-hmm.
We're not ending on five or one. We're ending on like two, which even if you don't know music theory and that doesn't mean anything to you, it's why it's like weird for your ears. Even if like all those numbers just sound like gobbledygook, that is actually why it's weird. Like we're landing in odd places, unexpected places, um, constantly flipping back and forth between modes. So like,
It,
why is it hard? Because it is.
when you did that first, the Merchat Tipcha Munachat Nachta, when you did the first introduction, it sounded major to my ears, pretty much major.
Mm-hmm.
But now I can't place it.
Yeah, that's because it's elusive. It's not really placeable. Like merchati pra, mercha da da da. That's very minor.
Mm-hmm.
Da 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 da. That's very major. Da, da,
Mm-hmm.
da, maybe it's not so major after all. It's
It
all
sounds
over.
strong.
Yeah. I mean, in like Torah and Haftarah, they're more clear cut. Like Torah is basically major with minor cadences at the, you know, final final cadence of an aliyah.
Mm-hmm.
And Haftarah is basically minor with major cadences at the end of the Haftarah.
Mm-hmm.
And but this is really back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And it's not by accident. Yeah. Sharon, you want to try the next one?
Okay, if it's all right, I'd like to try just doing the trope first and then applying it to the word.
Great strategy. And I'm going to
Uh,
mute because my thing just kicked back
You're
on.
rattling. Your skeleton is rattling. Okay. Muna mecha tevir mecha tipcha mecha tofasu or tilu.
Good.
Is that right?
Check your mercha here. Yeah, it fell too low.
Munachem navo el shar hamelech Yevusha Yevutsa
Great with
or
the
Yevutsa.
no, you had it right the first time.
Okay.
It usually is the simpler option.
Okay.
Usually things like that, like the simple thought that you have is the correct one. Um, when we have this, I think I heard something like Sha'ar, but you can really place it. It really gets placed on the higher note. El Sha'ar Hamelech.
Hamelech.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because the pickup note already happened. We don't need another one, and this is the strong note. Okay, good. Becky, do you want to try the last one?
Give it a try.
Okay, and you can do what Sharon did too if you want. Just do the trope and then add the text if that is helpful for you. It's a great strategy.
Munach Merchat Tevir.
I'm gonna rewind you a bit and
I'm still having trouble with that Mercha hitting the
yeah,
right note, yeah, aren't I? I'm not
yep.
quite sure.
Mercha,
Munach Merchat Tevir. Tipacha,
tipecha.
Tipacha,
So
Tipacha.
it's not that high. Tevir.
Tibacha.
Tibacha. It's a leap, which is unusual. Usually we get a little more. We don't have to leap between ta'amim, but here we do. Um, Munach mercha tevir.
Tibacha.
Tibacha.
Mercha silu.
Mercha silu.
Mercha silu.
Yeah. Yep.
I am really going to have to practice this at home.
Yeah.
It's that et nachta and siluk
Yep.
Yes.
They're
switch.
very similar. The
Wow.
siluk goes up. Na da da da. That nachta goes down. Ya da da da.
Yes.
Yeah. What you'll notice, and this is the same as last time, the syllabus, but the majority of the homework is things to practice.
Mm-hmm.
Some like very specific things to practice, and then like 4 or 5 things to record. Yeah.
So
So
I'm going to, all right.
you're right. It's all about the practice, and like it kind of stinks learning something from someone who knows it, because I know I make it sound easy because I know it. It's like I learned to walk 47 years ago. It's not it looks easy. I'm teaching my kid how to drive now,
Oh,
and I am like floored by how not automatic an action it is. It is amazing. We've just had 2 sessions. Um, driving looks so easy. It ain't, and this is not either. And you get it easy by practicing it. That's the only way. You're completely right.
yeah.
Yeah, and listening. Listening is really great, and there are lots of sound files in the folder of all this stuff.
I will listen to the sound.
Definitely avail yourself of those when you're driving, when you're doing the dishes, when you're not even paying attention, because even that, it goes in.
Excuse me just a second. I need to plug this laptop in.
Sure. I'm going to click the slide forward and maybe it will get there by the time you're done. Oh, it actually did it. It went right away. Um, so we have our next uh, conjunctive stack, or next conjunctive in our stacking order. We move back to Tilisha, which will actually be a familiar one
Hmm?
from other tropes. Tilisha. That is pretty much the same, like everywhere. Tilisha Kadma. So to get into Kadma from there, it's just like a nice major chord. Ay, ay, ay. Telisha Kadma Darga Tevir. I'll do it again, just for fun, because also it helps to hear it lots. Telisha Kadma Darga Tevir. All right, who wants to try it just with the trope words? Sharon.
Isha kadma darga tevir.
Great. Becky, do you want to do it too?
Sure. Tilisha kadma daga tavir.
Really good. I'm going to refine Talisha a little bit. It
Mhm.
tried to imitate Tavir. So it has to start and end on the same note. Telisha. We're basically just outlining that note.
Tilisha kadma daga tavir.
Yes, now go get the door.
It's like a mordant, the tlisha.
That was easy.
Good. All right, so who would like to take this first chunk? Vayasem hamelech Achashverosh.
I'll try it, but I'm gonna go slow.
Good. Slow is great.
Okay. Vayasem hamelech Achashverosh al haaretz בימי הים ויהיה הים. Was that
Yeah.
right?
Yep. V'iyeh hayam. Yes, that was right. Good. Um, a reminder, you could have even slowed down even more because our friend Pasek here means
Right.
put a little tiny pause where you might not normally. It's normally darga tevir, right? They go right together.
על הארץ ויהיה הים.
Good. Yeah. Great. Um, so
How
here,
did,
sorry, go ahead, Sharon.
I was just reading below. Sorry, I
Yeah.
answered my question.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm reading the same thing. All right. The munach is another F. אף לא הביא אסתר המלכה עם המלך אל משתה אשר עשתה. No, אל משתה.
So what's happening? You're throwing yourself off because you're going up way too high on El Mishte.
I am.
Yep. So it is note to note, and you had that. Im hamelech el hamishte
אל המשתה אשר עשתה.
sharasata.
Asha Sata, right, because that's where the accent is.
Mm-hmm.
El Mishte Asha Sata. Oh, Etzarat Nachta. Ki imoti.
Almost. So that was the siluk. The etnachta goes down.
I know.
Um,
Ki
Ki,
imot.
let's back up a little bit. Hamishte asher asata. And if we had two syllables here, we'd have a note to know to be ayai munach, but we only have the one. So it's
Ki.
asata
Ki.
ki. Not as high as you want it to be. Munach et nachta.
Imoti.
Yeah, let's just go back. Um, El hamishte asher asata. Repeat after me.
El Hamishte Asha Sata.
Ki im oti.
Imoti.
Now I'm going to do all of that so we can really feel the transition between asata and ki. El hamishte asher asata. Ki im oti.
El Hamishte Asha Sata. Kimoti.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Do you want to go back and do the whole thing? Repeat after me?
Yes, please.
Let's do that. Af lo hevi'a
Aflohevia.
Esther hamalka
Esther Hamalka.
im hamelech
Im Hame. Im Hamelech.
el hamishte asher asata ki imoti.
El Hamishter in El Hamishter
El hamishte.
Asher Sata Kimoti.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oof.
Yes.
I think I would benefit from just doing the 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 trope here on this one, so I get the
Mhm.
connection.
Yep.
Um,
Do you want to go back and do that? You're muted again.
I've lost my starting note. So
Becky and I were here.
Munach,
Vaya da 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 da.
okay. Munach Tisha Kadma Darga Tevir Merchat Yitcha Munachet Nachta.
Yeah.
That's what I'd have to do. I'd have to do that over and over until I really got the way they go together, and then I would add the words.
Yeah.
That's how my brain functions.
Yeah, and that's why we do that first slide every session. Um, and that is a really, really good general approach. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and you recall when we do verses at the end for practice, which we're almost there, I think. Um, we do the ivrit spoken, and then we do the trope, and then we put them together. Yeah, yeah. Becky, do you want to do any more with this together while we're still here?
Yes, I want to do just the trope.
Great.
Munach Talish. Oh gosh, now I'm double thinking. Even
So here's where we were, Munach
Munach
Telisha.
Munach Talisha Esther Hamalka Im HaMelech El HaMishter Asher Asata Ki
Ki Munach.
Kimoti.
Yeah,
Yes, Kimoti.
yeah.
Wow.
Munach et Nachta.
Munachta Isha.
Wait.
I'm doing it completely wrong. Kadmadaka.
Right. Munach
Isha.
Telisha.
Kadmadaka. Tavir. Mecha tipecha. Munach et nachta.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Very good. Hmm. I knew we were close. All right, let's chant. Um, so yeah, let's split these into two. All of these, the first halves are shorter, so we'll have you guys go back and forth with the smaller half. um, so who wants the first part here? Who will start us? Okay, Becky, you start us here, and then Sharon, you pick us. And let's really do our whole procedure. Just pronounce the Hebrew, and you can do it sequentially. So Becky, Sharon, and then chant the trope, and then put it
Okay.
together.
Vayehi biyamei Achashverosh. Are we
And then
doing
Sharon.
And then I just repeat what you just did,
No,
or I do
then
my line.
you read the Hebrew of
Okay.
your part.
Okay. Migadol, the ad katan, nishte shivat yamim.
Okay. All right. All right. These are, God love me. These are
Tipecha
not
munach et nachta.
okay.
Darga tivir, tipacha munach et nafta.
Okay.
They're not, it's not a
Right.
sentence.
This was dawning on me. I was like, oh, this is not halves of a verse. These are just
Ah, so
discrete.
I'll do my whole thing then.
Yeah.
ויהי בימי אחשורוש, טיפחה מונח את נחתה, טיפחה,
Tibacha.
טיפחה מונח את נחתה.
So let's get you oriented. Right now, you're
I'm
actually
all
sort
over the
of
place.
moving between places. If you want to move it higher, that's fine. Because it might be that you just would rather do it a little bit higher. So
I
let's,
usually sing too low.
uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah, because you're just sort of gravitating a little higher, and I think it's throwing you off. Like
Oh,
the,
you know what part of it is?
hmm,
I I forgot about class starting today, and I'm wearing jeans that are just tight on the middle, so my feet are off.
got it.
I need
That
to remember to wear stretchy pants or skirts on Wednesday.
And a belt.
breathing is useful. Breathing is
Uh-huh.
useful. Um, let's just move it a little higher. Tibecha monach et nachta. Tibecha.
טיפחה מונחת נחתה,
Mm-hmm.
ויהי בימי אחשורוש.
All right. Good. Great. All right,
Okay.
and Sharon.
So the order: spoken Hebrew, chanting trope, and then putting it together.
Yep.
Okay. So למיגדול ועד קטן משתה שיבת ימים. דרגה טבעית פיתחה מונח את נפשה. So would this be Lemigado? All right, seems strange that it's not on Gadol.
Yeah, it is a little bit odd, but
Okay. Lemigado atkatan mishte shivat yamim.
good. Okay. Great. And then Sharon, why don't you take this Merchati B'cha Siluk?
Okay. V'esrim umeat medina. Is it Merchati B'cha?
Mm-hmm.
Silu.
So when
I don't remember.
when it doesn't have Mercha before it, it has that sweepy thing. Yeah.
E flat. Yeah.
All right. Silu. Or Silu.
Silu. Yeah, so that the
Silu.
right when it's elided, we don't hear the D twice, but when it's
Okay.
not and it's not here, then the siluk is actually siluk.
So that would be Medina.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, Medina.
Yes. Yes. Good. All right, Becky, a siluk phrase with a tevir.
על רצפת בהת ושש ודר וסוחרת. No, is it? No, it's socharet.
Sucharet. Yeah.
Socharet. Right. טיפחה מרחק. Right. טיפחה מרחק.
Tevir. It's called tevir. You're singing the right music.
That's right, I am.
Yeah.
תביא מרחק טיפחה Merchasilu.
Very, very close. Merchasilu.
Merchasilu.
Yeah. So it's a little bit different from that.
Merchasilu.
Hmm.
Not silu, it's
Right.
merchasilu.
Uh,
Tavir
so I'm gonna back you
merchas.
up a little bit. Can I come in for a second?
Yes.
Um, if you want to be in the key that you are here, then your tevir has to start a little bit higher, um, which is fine. Mercha tivcha. Tevir is where you're gonna start. Mercha. Okay.
I'm going back down low again, aren't I? Okay. Tavir merchatibcha merchasilu
Mercha
silu
silu.
merchasilu
Yeah.
merchasilu.
Hmm.
Ah.
So I'm gonna reorient you. If we ended here, silu, mercha siluk, al. Oops,
One
wrong
moment,
bell.
please.
Yep.
While she's doing that, could you do it once for me, Diana?
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Alem ritzvat bahat vashesh, vedar vesocharet. Mm-hmm.
thank you.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Do you want to try that one yourself, Sharon, while we're here?
I'm gonna need help because
Sure.
I'm not holding it all in my head right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ah, breathe, breathe, fast, fast, fashish, edar, this, this, this,
Yes. Yes. That is how that plays out. You
okay.
got it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
As soon as this class is over, I've got a little bit of time before I start teaching. I'm going to just hammer it in my head because it will disappear.
Mhm.
And so I find if I can hammer it, I'll practice this whole page. You have these slides in the in your materials, right?
Yes, and the video of these gets posted as well as the audio. So,
Yeah.
like, all the materials are there. And you feel free to download, like, the folders basically stay the same, so you'll have access to them. Although, next year, the recordings from this section will go away and they'll be replaced by, the new
Next
section.
year.
But all the
Right.
materials are there. But definitely just like add it to your G Drive or download or however you like to keep track of stuff. They're
Yeah.
yours. You paid for it.
Good deal.
Yeah.
It's a good deal. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I learned Torah and Haftorah Trop from a book, so this is a very different process for
mhm.
me. I'm learning it much more deeply.
Mm.
I'm so sorry. We had somebody at our door wanting to know if the food pantry that we used to have before COVID was open. And, with last weekend's events, we're kind of on edge with.
Becky, when you just said that, someone was at the door. I like started crying immediately. Like
Mm.
the tears didn't actually come all the way out, but
I know.
I mean, when just hearing you say those words, they were there, and I was like,
Mhm.
oh no.
I know. I know. I mean, I never used to take the panic button with me when I go to the door, but I do now. So,
And I also try and remember what it must be like for those who are in need.
Yes,
And to
exactly.
know that just their very presence, if I were one of those people, my very presence would trigger people,
Mm-hmm.
I
you
know.
know. And what a terrible place to be in. Where are they safe to be, the
Right.
truly needy?
Right. Oh God.
Mm.
So,
Boy. Wow.
so like the education director was had heard the bell and would come out also like, do you want me to cover you? Do you want me to watch and make sure this is just mm,
Yeah.
Mm. I was reading an op-ed in the Times last night, and this woman wrote about, you know, now when she's traveling abroad and she asks where the local shul is, they're like, oh, go to XYZ Street and then look for the guards with machine guns. And
hmm
then she wrote about this other experience she had driving through the Berkshires, and there was this, lovely, whatever, 19th century, 18th century church, and she was like driving by, and she's like, that looks so nice, and there were people outside, and she was like, there's something wrong with this picture.
hmm
She's like, then I realized the doors were wide open. There
hmm
were no guards anywhere, and people were just out coming in and going out and greeting each other. She's like, I don't know when the last time I went through the front door of my shul was. It's
hmm
not secure enough. We go around to another door.
hmm
Yeah, I remember in, was it 2016 in the summer, or 14, before I entered seminary, I went to uh, uh
All right.
All right.
So it was
Ah.
all מצוות בחודש ודל זוכרת.
Yes! Ding, 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 ding. All right. Good. Now, just to confuse you, Becky,
Ah,
let's go to uh, Tipcha et Nachta.
בימים ההם, בימים ההם,
So, not quite, because Tipcha is a falling one.
בימים, no, oh,
Hayamim.
ההם, בימים ההם.
And for further confusion, et Nachta, when it's not preceded by Munach,
It has that funny thing.
it's simple. Ha-hem. So
Hahem.
this is like almost a palindrome. Bayamim ha-hem.
Just a moment here. This is
In
simple.
tune.
Biyamim hahem.
Cool.
now with it, if it wasn't simple, it would be
Oh,
by
just a moment
me,
here. It's the teacher who thought
Right.
that.
right?
Yep.
By me,
I was trying, Maggie.
Yep.
I was trying to open it and it wouldn't.
Do you want to dig into this while we're here?
Was the ringer
Okay.
off? Yes.
The Yin Malchut Rav Yad Hamelech.
Okay.
Or I should let her go.
No, it's just biyamim hahem.
Not quite. Hayamim ha-hem. So listen very carefully. You'll hear the palindrome. It's not quite a complete palindrome.
Okay.
Ay, 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 ay. So we're going back and forth between those two notes. Bayamim ha-hem. And then we just drop down one. Bayamim ha-hem.
Biyamim hahem.
Yeah. Tibecha et nachta.
Biyamim hahem.
And try it with the
So
trope
much better
words.
with my eyes closed.
Tibecha. What's that?
I can do it better with my eyes closed. Tipacha et nachta. No. Tipacha et nachta.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Yamim Hahen.
Yeah, good. Good.
And nobody
Amen.
comes to the door when I'm not in class.
I believe it. Well, it's
Mm.
like my daughter doesn't text me when when I'm not like teaching or not in a meeting. It,
Mhm.
it just they just know.
Mhm.
She never has a crisis when I could deal with a crisis.
Mhm. Right.
That's not the nature of crises. Yeah. All right.
Mm.
So Sharon, you wanna pick up
Okay.
with that?
No, I said the wrong word.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yep, that's right.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Ah.
Vayen Malchut Rav Eyad HaMelech.
Yes. Good. Good, good, good. All right, and
I
Sharon,
don't remember seeing Mercha Tevir Tipacha like that before.
um, it can happen.
Can
Here's one.
happen.
Well, we have darga instead of mercha, but tipcha,
Right.
tevir, that's a
Yeah.
thing. Like, you can't have a mercha without a tipcha or a dargaf or a siluk following it, but you can have a
Mhm.
tipcha without a conjunctive before it. That's the
Mhm.
nature of disjunctives. They don't need support, but
Mhm.
they have like assigned support systems that go with them in case they do. So tipcha is a disjunctive, so it can stand alone, as it were, because this is disjunctive, disjunctive.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay.
All
So
right.
Asher v'Shushan Habiyah.
Habira.
Okay. Why is it written like that? With
What do you
the
mean?
where I couldn't tell whether the vowels are like in between the letters. That's why I couldn't tell what
It's
under it.
because of um,
Oh,
this
because
has
of
to
the
share a meteg and a vowel,
okay.
and
Mhm.
so
The
they're like vying for
Bai
space.
okay. Habira. Okay,
And
got it.
same here, it has to share the ta'am and the vowel, so it's
Right.
like,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
So it's the font as much as anything.
yep,
Okay. So so Tikha Mecha Silu
hmm
Asher B'Shushan Habira.
yes, okay. All right, and Becky, you can bring us home.
Ben Yair ben Shim'i ben Kish ish Yemini. Munach darga Tevir Tipacha Mercha Siluk. Ben Yair ben Shim'i ben Kish ish Yemini.
Really good, really good. There's a little bit that we can refine.
Mhm.
Um, so this was great. And let's go back to just the trope. Munach darga tevir. And then we have to leap up a little bit. Ben Kish. So there's a number of ways to think about this. There are
Mhm.
like a couple. I can think of two. There may be more than two, but the two ways I can think of are either you can aim, you can sort of keep hold a memory of where you want your last note, in relation to the end of the tevir. Be tevir, and we're going here. We have to go somewhere in between, but
Becky.
that munach darga tevir. Ba, one more down, and in between, bankish. But if you can anchor yourself in where you're going at the end of tipcha, that's one way to think about it. Otherwise, if it's easier, you can think about where does this tipcha start in relationship to this? Ben shim'i bam yam padam. It's that timpani again. Bum 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 bum. And then go from there. Ben shim'i. Then you just have to remember how the notes of tipcha relate to each other. Sometimes it's weirdly easier to think in a bigger picture where you're going to the end of the phrase. Ben shim'i ba ben kish. So whichever way is more helpful for you as an anchor. And here we have a single syllable. So we just have ish. We would have otherwise mercha, but it's like ha siluk.
Ish Yamini.
Yeah.
Ben Yair. Ben Shimi. Ben Kish. Ben Kish. Ish Yamini.
Whee!
Ben
Yeah.
Yair. Ben Shimi. Ben Kish. Ish Yamini.
Ish yamini.
Ish Yamini.
And again, if you did it like that, like no
Mm.
one's gonna throw you off the bima.
No, but I want to do it. I want to at least know how to do it right.
Yes, I understand. You want choices. Everybody wants choices these days. And don't we know it better than anybody? Oh God. Becky, God love her, is on the Smicha Week task force
Ah,
and is doing such amazing work, and it is such hard work. I think you may have the hardest job of all of us, truth be told, really, and it's amazing what you're doing.
thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Uh,
So, Yasha Kochechen, this was really great work today, like really, and it is hard, and I hope it's fun also.
mhm.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is fun. It's just,
It's just hard. Yeah. Yeah.
and the
Sharon, you're
kids.
muted. Huh?
It just takes lots of practice. It's hard, it's fun, but it takes with practice it'll just get better, I think.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
will.
And I'll tell you too,